Hi, and welcome to this video where I will be teaching you how to play Fjordar, a game set under the turbulent times of the Norwegian Civil War, which lasted from 1130 to 1240. In these times, there were 22 pretenders to the throne and countless battles. In Fjordar, you and up to 3 other players will be representing one of the groups around one of these pretenders. You will win the game by having the most victory points. And you will get victory points by burning and building churches, by lighting beacons, by rescuing your heirs from castles, and of course beating your opponents in battle. When one of the players have reached or exceeded 50 points, the game ends, and every player will get an equal amount of turns. Then you will do endgame scoring and declare a winner. When setting up the map, just go to the appendix, find map setup first time playing, and follow the instructions here. This will ensure a good experience for first time players. This is also the map we have set up to explain the rules in this rules video. Next, play the scoreboard next to the map, and then place event tokens on each green space on the scoreboard. Take and shuffle the event cards and place them next to the scoreboard. This will be the event deck. Now take the leader cards and sort them in their generations. They are marked here with Roman numerals, so these are the 2 cards. Shuffle them independently and then make a deck of them by placing the 6th generation cards at the bottom and the 2 generation cards at the top, creating the leader deck. Put the first generation leaders to the side for now. Place the coins and the rest of the resource cubes, villages, churches, ships and forests to the side of the map. Now each player takes all their player pieces in their color. So 12 air tokens, 6 church builder tokens discs, 25 cubes, 6 laydown units, 1 hird unit, and 1 scoring marker. The scoring marker you place on the scoring board at the start space. Then each player gets the 4 basic movement cards. Jul, sommer, høster og påske. Each player also get 4 battle cards representing the 4 alliances in the game. The castle closest to your seat is your starting castle. Take one of your cubes and place it in the castle to mark your ownership. Also, take your hird unit and place it inside the castle. Then, take a ship from the general supply and place it next to the castle on the water hex. Also, place 1 laydown and 1 ownership cube in the boat. Now take 1 action board and place it in front of you. Also, take 1 alliance board and place it directly below it. Then take 8 alliance tiles, level 2 and 3, 2 of each color, and place it beside your action board. Every player takes 2 coins in their supply. Put your heirs in every castle that is not a starting castle. The player who last gave chase to their enemies across a frozen lake will become the first player. If this does not apply to anyone around the table, just determine the first player randomly. Then, take the set aside Generation 1 leader cards and give them to the last player, and then, counterclockwise, draft the cards. You are now ready to play Fjordar. In Fjordar, you have 4 alliances. The Baglar, the Birkebein, the Landsman and the Øyskjegg. And you will get influence in these 4 alliances. So to get influence in the Baglar, you have to own churches. To get influence in the Birkebein, you have to own castles. To get influence in the Landsman, you have to own villages. And to get influence in the Øyskjegg, you have to own boats. So you just count up. Here, the Baglar, you count up every church that you control on the board, plus you also count every symbol from leader cards that you have played in either the movement row or have in the saga row. If your influence is 4 or more, you will upgrade your influence in this alliance. And then you will put the level 2 token up onto the correct space. If you have 7 or more influence in an alliance, you will upgrade to level 3. And these upgrades will happen immediately when you get enough influence. If you later in the game go down again to have less influence, you don't have to remove the upgraded token. Now that we are done with setup, it's time to learn how to play the game. On your turn, you will go through 6 phases. Phase 1 is to decide to pay for every movement card you have already played or to pick them up. In phase 2, you have to play exactly 1 movement card down to your play area. In phase 3, you do the movement with the units that you with the movement points that you generated from the cards you played. In phase 4, you will do battle if you triggered 1 or more battle in the movement phase. In phase 5, you will do location actions with your units. And in phase 6, you will get points if you have lit 1 or more beacons. And then your turn is over and it goes to the next player. Now we will go into each phase in more detail. Phase 1 is skipped on your first turn, but in later turns you will have a choice to make. Because then you will have played some cards that lie here in your movement row. So for each card in the movement row, you now either have to pay 1 coin for each card, or you have to retrieve your hand. When you retrieve your hand because you don't want to or can afford to pay, every movement card goes back into your hand, and every leader card that's in the movement row now goes over to the saga row. In phase 2, you have to play exactly 1 movement or leader card into your movement row. If the movement row is empty, and this is the first card played, it cannot be a leader card and you have to play 1 of the 4 basic movement cards. When you play a card down like this, and there already is some cards in the row, you put them so the left margin is showing for the cards already there. After you have played a card, you count up all your movement points. And first of all, the movement points is from the card you played and from previous cards that already is in the movement row. So here we will have 2 movement points. Then you will look over to your saga row and see if any leaders have movement points on them. Here we have 1 movement point from Sverre Sigurdsson, so we have now 3 movement points. If you choose to play a leader as a movement card, you put it down in the movement row, and then you look at which alliance the leader belongs to, and then you look at your alliance board, and then you see how much movement this leader will generate. So now Inge Krokrygg will generate 2 movement points, plus the 2 movement points already in the movement row, plus the 1 in the lead saga row, for a total of 6 movement points. In phase 3, you will use the movement points that you generated in phase 2. So let's go to the board. When moving your units, you can use movement points to move between areas. And an area is a space on the board made up of 1 or more adjacent hexes of the same color and on the same level. So this will be 1 area, this is 1 area, and also this single hex is 1 area. Also, each castle and each ship counts as 1 single hexed area. When you are moving a unit, it's different costs to move into different areas. So if you want to move from 1 area to another on the same level, it costs 1 movement point. So move this unit from the boat and over here. They are on the same level, so it's 1 movement point. And then you, of course, put a owner marker on the area. If you want to go up exactly 1 level, it's of course an uphill battle it will cost more movement points. So this costs 2 movement points to get your laydown up here. And then you put a cube down. Going downhill is of course easier again, so going downhill only costs 1 movement point. And then you put a cube in this area. And then again, you can, if you have more movement points, you can continue, pay 2 movement points and go up to this area and put a cube. If there is more than 1 level in difference between where your unit is and where you want to go, this is called a cliff, and you cannot go up here. You cannot go down either if you are standing here and want to go down here. You have to go just 1 level down and up if you want to move. A continuous row of your control cubes is called a supply line, and it only costs 1 movement point to move anywhere inside your supply line. If you want to move outside the supply line again, you have to pay the normal movement costs, which here is 2 movement because you are going up 1 level. If you move a unit into an area with another player's units, this unit's movement automatically stops, and this will also trigger a battle in the next phase. In the movement phase, you can trigger multiple battles this way. Here we now have a battle, and this is the battle area. Each player now counts up their strength. Each hird in the battle is 3 strength, and each laydown is 1 strength if they are in the battle zone. The laydown can also be supportive units if they are adjacent to the battle area. They are 1 in support plus 1 for each level above the battle area they are. So here they are 2 above, which will give each of them a strength of 3. So the total sum of the red player's strength is now 9. They will mark this on their player board to remember it and place the cube on 9. The yellow player will do the same. The yellow player has its hird, which is 3. It also has a support laydown here on the same level, which is plus 1. And it has a laydown here, 1 level above the battleground. So this will be plus 2 for a total sum of 6 strength that they will mark on their player board. Now you will choose one of your cards that will be your ally in this fight. After you have chosen what alliance to play, you can play up to 3 prediction cards. With these, you are trying to guess which alliance your opponent has played. So the other cards now become prediction cards, and you put them like this. If you guess right, and your opponent either played the green, white and blue alliance, you will get extra strength into this battle. Now you look at your alliance board. This Bogler alliance is what I chose, so I look at my Bogler tile. I have a level 3, so this will get me 3 more strength in this battle. But if you just use 2 prediction cards and you guess right, you will get this number times 2. So I will get 6 more strength. And if I'm so clever that I can guess what my opponent played with just 1 prediction card, I will get my alliance strength times 3 for an extra strength of 9 in this case. And the same goes for my opponent. If he guessed my alliance right with 3 prediction cards, he looks at his chosen alliance and gets the strength times 1. If he chooses with just 2 prediction cards, he will get it times 2. And of course, if he gets right with just 1 prediction card, he will get his alliance strength times 3. Okay. In this example, I chose the Bogler alliance, and I predicted that my opponent would play the Landsman alliance or the Birkebein alliance. My opponent played the Landsman alliance, so I predicted right. My opponent made a bold choice to just play 1 prediction card, and he predicted that I would play the Birkebein alliance, which I did not. So his bold choice did not pay off. I, on the other hand, get some bonus strength for predicting my opponent's choice. So I go back to my player board, I look at my alliance tile, and I will get the extra strength of my alliance tile times 2, since I only used 2 prediction cards. Now I will get 6 more strength from this alliance. And I will move my cube accordingly. Now I have 15 strength total. The alliance tile also tells you what you win if you are the attacker in the battle and you win the battle. So here, with the Bugler, I either get 3 coins or 6 points. That is the player's choice. Once the battle outcome has been determined, we have to resolve the battle area. Now the attacker, the red player, won. So the yellow player has to retreat all its units from the battle area to any area it controls on the map. So here we can retreat it up here, for example, and remove the control cube of the yellow player. Now it's the red player that controls this area. If the yellow player, as the defensive player, had won this battle, then the red player had to kill one of the participating units in this battle. So he could choose one of these 3 to remove completely from the map. Then, if they have units left in the battle area, they have to retreat them to one of their controlled areas. And the yellow player still controls this area. Phase 5, location actions. Each unit you have on the board can do 1 location action. And there is 7 different location actions that you can do. 3 of them is to build. And to build, you have to have a forest in the area where the unit is. First, we can explain how to build a new ship. If you want to build a boat, there has to be a forest in the area where you want to build. Then you'll cut down the forest. You also have to pay 1 coin from your supply. And then you'll take a boat from the supply and place it on a sea hex. And where you place the boat is any sea hex that is in the supply line of the area you build from. So here you have a supply line in these areas. So you can place the boat in any hex that is adjacent to this supply line. When you have decided, you now have a choice to put the units that build the boat into the boat, if you so choose. The next location action is to build a church. To build a church, a unit has to be in an area with a forest. You now chop down the forest and you pay 1 coin from your supply. And then you take a church from the supply and you put it in the area. You also have to put an owner marker to symbolize that this is a church that you have built. And in the end, you will get 1 point to build a church. The last thing you can build in this game is a village. Again, to build a village, you have to have an area with forest. You chop down the forest. And the laydown that you activated, you also have to remove. This symbolizes that he now is tired of fighting and wants to settle down in this nice little village that you will take from the supply, put in the area, along with 2 supply cubes. The next location action is to burn down a church. To burn down a church, you of course have to have a unit in an area with a church. And you cannot burn down a church that you have built. So this church cannot be burned down, but this one can. When you burn a church, you set it alight and remove it from the game board. And now you have to choose. You can either get 1 coin that you put into your supply, or you can score points. Each time you burn down a church, you score equal amount of points to the number of churches you have built on the map. So in this case, I have only built 1 church, which is here, so I will score 1 point. Another action you can do is to light a beacon. You will find beacons on the map on the top of every mountain. This is on level 4. If you have a unit on an area with a beacon, you can light it by putting your cube inside it. This will get you another laydown that you now can put on the map anywhere inside the supply line that is connected to the area with the beacon. So, for example, here. If you can't or don't want to put a new leidang onto the map, you don't have to. Another location action is the village action. For each unit that you have in the same area as a village, you can muster or tax them. If you do a tax action, you remove one resource cube from the village and take one coin from the supply and put it into your supply. If you choose to muster, you will take one resource cube from the village and take one new leidang and put into the map. If the village doesn't have any resource cube, you can't do either of these actions. The last action to explain is retrieving an heir. To retrieve an heir, you have to have a unit in one of the castles on the board with one of your heir tokens in it. To retrieve an heir, you remove the heir token from the castle, and after that, you have to choose what alliance you want to score. In this case, I will choose to score the Bugler Alliance. The Bugler Alliance is associated with owning churches on the board. So, inside the supply line of the castle that I choose to score, I now count every church that I own, which is 1, 2, 3. You also count every Bugler symbol that you have played on leader cards in your movement row and that is in your saga row. Here is 1, to a sum of 4. Now I will consult a table at the right side of my playboard and I will see a sum of 4 will give me 4 points. I can choose to retrieve more heirs in the same turn. So here again I have a unit here and I have an heir, so I can choose to also retrieve an heir from here. I will take the heir, remove it from the castle, and again choose an alliance to score. But you are not allowed to choose the same alliance to score at the same turn. So now I have to choose another alliance than the Bugler Alliance. So I will choose to score the Birkebein. The Birkebein is associated with owning castles. So I see inside the supply line of the castle, which I will retrieve the heir from, I own 1, 2, 3 castles. I also have played 2 leader cards with Birkebein symbols in the movement row and in the saga row, to a sum of 5. Again, I will consult the table to the right side of the playboard. For 5, I get 6 points. After you have scored your points, you now get new leaders. You take the leader cards and draw the 3 top cards from the stack, and then you choose one of them to keep in your hand and put the other 2 in the order you choose back into the stack. The last phase on your turn is phase 6, which is a short phase. First off, you will score 1 point for each of your lit beacons on the map. So here the red player has 1 lit beacon, so it will score 1 point. After that, you look at the scoreboard. If you have passed one of the event tokens on the scoreboard, then you will now resolve an event card. You will just take the top card of the event deck, look at it, and then you will resolve what's on here. So here, for example, you will fill each village with cubes. You will place new heirs in one of the castles, and you will plant new forest on the map. This will represent that time has gone by. Let's now go through the special abilities you get when you upgrade your alliances. Level 2 of the Bugler Alliance, then you get 1 extra point for burning down churches for each church you have built on the board. So now, if you have built 3 churches on the board and now burn down a church, you will get 6 points. And on the level 3, if you have 7 influence or more in the Bugler Alliance, you will also get endgame scoring, 1 point for each church you have built on the board. The Birkebeiner Alliance level 2, you now get 2 extra points each time you retrieve an heir. And the Birkebeiner Alliance level 3 gives you 3 plus points each time you retrieve an heir. Then we have the Landsman level 2 alliance. Now each of your Leidang units is worth 1 more in strength in battle. So each Leidang is now 2 strength. And the level 3 for Landsman, still each Leidang is 2 strength. And now you also get 1 point at the end of the game for each Leidang you have on the map. And lastly, we have the Øyskjegg alliance. The level 2 of the Øyskjegg alliance gives you 1 extra point in phase 6 for each beacon you have lit on the map. So if you have 3 beacons lit on the map in phase 6, you will now score 6 points instead of 3. And the level 3 alliance on Øyskjegg still gives you more points for have lit beacons, and you will also score 1 point for each beacon you have lit at the end of the game. When one player has reached or passed 50 points on the scoreboard, endgame is triggered. Now every player gets an equal amount of turns, and then you will count up endgame scoring. And endgame scoring will come from 2 places. It will come from upgraded alliances on level 3, and everybody will also score a set collection of your leaders. So let's take the alliances first. In my example, I have level 3 on Bogler and on Landsman. And the level 3 on the Bogler alliance gets me 1 point for each of the churches I have built on the map. Here I have built 1, 2, 3 churches, and I can see I built them because I have my build token beside them. This will give me 3 points. For the Landsman alliance on level 3, I will score 1 point for each Leidang I have on the map at the end of the game. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Leidang. That will give me 4 points. And lastly, everybody will check all the leaders they have played in the game that are both in the saga row and in the movement row. And for each set of different leaders, they will score points that stands on the right side of your player board. If you have a set of 4 different alliance leaders, you will get 10 points. If you have 3 different leaders, you will get 5 points. And for 2 different leaders, you will get 2 points. So here, I have played a full set that will give me 10 points. And I also, in my movement row, have 2 more leaders that are in 2 different alliances. And this will get me 2 more points for a total of 12 more points. Now I hope you have learned how to play this game Fjordar. Thank you for your time and happy gaming.